the IDF accidentally struck a hospital.
Twice, yeah.
Twice. But we don't know exactly what's happened there.
Well, there have been hundreds of attacks on hospitals in Gaza. And this one was attack and then wait 10 minutes and then attack when emergency workers turn up. So you can't just always say, oh, we don't really know.
CNN's detailed examination of footage of Monday's strike on the hospital in Khan Yunis found that Israel's so-called double tap actually involved 3 missiles. The first strike hit a 4th-floor stairwell close to a hospital upper balcony. And then, 10 minutes later, as emergency crews and journalists scrambled to help the victims, a second and third strike hit precisely the same spot. A munitions expert who examined the footage notes that the second and third missiles were almost certainly fired from 2 different tanks in very close succession. As he and CNN conclude, that removes any last trace of doubt on whether the attack on the hospital was, as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu claims, a tragic mishap.
But the question no one ever asks is, why is it that so many civilians are being killed in Gaza and not that many civilians are being killed in Ukraine? Why is it? Well, I know because I have family in Ukraine. And you know what they do when the air raid sirens go off? They go down into the tube in Kiev, which the government has made available for them and encouraged them to use. But in Gaza, they have a tunnel network that is bigger than the London Tube, and not one civilian has been allowed in.
First of all, the tunnels underneath Gaza, from what I understand, are military tunnels, really. I think if you had loads of people trying to cram into them, there would be a lot of death and suffocation.
What's going to happen with... I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
Well, if you think about it, nobody does. That's why this conflict's been going on for as long as it has. If someone had a solution to the Middle East, we would have had it by now. This is the point. It's very, very difficult.
The Middle East is not insoluble just because it's inherently difficult. First of all, it could have been solved in the mid-1990s, but one of Benjamin Netanyahu's someone who was swimming in the same swamp as he was, shot the Israeli Prime Minister dead, was on the verge of creating peace in the Middle East. So there's that as context. But I think beyond that as well, it's not just about it being difficult for everyone to agree. There are also economic interests, Western economic interests, arms interests, political interests, identity politics interests, voter interests. How are you going to appeal to those 10% of Christian fundamentalists in the United States if you don't support whatever lunacy the Israeli government is conducting?
Everybody has a constant battle with, which is ego, which is you've got to have the humility to realise there are things that you do not understand in this world. I do not comment on whether Israel should stop the war or have they gone too far, because the answer is I don't know. Thank God I've never been in a battlefield. Thank God I've never had to join an army. I am not a military person. I'm not a military expert. I'm not a geopolitical expert. I do not know enough.
Triggernometry has never had a problem saying when the left goes too far. Why do they have a problem in saying that Israel has gone too far? They